those who were there. This is the first in the series of Ipadi talks on issues relevant to our people.
They're going to get this subsidy. But Mrs. A, B, C.
Right? But
so you, well, I don't know.
how are you? Or something. Do you want to know what happened in 1763 during the Berbice Revolution? On Saturday, August 31st, you can come and hear Professor Marjolaine Carrs, author of the book Blood on the River. This is your opportunity to learn what really happened hundreds of years ago, and you will hear it from the voices of those who were there. This is the first in the series of Ipadi talks on issues relevant to our people. Call 223-8852 to 3 to reserve your seat. Ipadi talks, celebrating our heroes. The Berbice Slave Revolution, Saturday, August 31st, Theatre Guild, Georgetown, 16 hours. That's 4 p.m.
The fire burning red in a Joshua representing of a comes audience.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money, I know what you're gonna do. Money, never money, never money, money, never money, money, you can keep your conniving money. When you've been up for a bum, in a biz there be money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a biz there be money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money, now know what you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. This is all the money that me walk for. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. Now I know what you can I be money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruption over land and sea, where the wicked politician they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Beep, beep, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which as ordinate me to sing. I sing Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, they got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam, Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London, Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, Poor People Governor, Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson, Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Yesterday I was sitting and I was thinking, I say, there have been some people really stuck with Camps TV from the time we started up until now. And if I were to, I know y'all gonna want to beat them up, but I'm entitled to my opinion. If I were to say that there's one diehard, I will say it's Desiree Simmons. Desiree Simmons, good morning. It's been a long time I haven't shouted you out. How you do? Right there alongside Desiree Simmons, I would find Brenda Casey. But I don't know where Michelle is now. Mrs. Jones? I don't know where Mrs. Jones is. But those are people who readily come to mind when I say, who are the diehards? Who are the people who've been with Camps TV from? Wayne, you notice the share women a call? That is why they say, when you're giving credits, don't ever get to name calling, because some people will beat you up, right? Some people will beat you up. But one of the things I can say in general is that all those persons who, for one reason or other, I would say stumbled upon Camps TV after we started, have stuck with the program. They have stuck with the program. And I thank you all for sticking with the program. Whether you're male or female, whether you're transgender or queer, whatever you are, I'm happy that you've stuck with the program. We are now a family. right? We are now a family. Rhonda, when I think about you and Emily Durant, I think about y'all are angels. Y'all on a different plane, right? Because you've stuck with me through the protests and all of that. And there are lots of people behind the scene, you know. So don't think it is only those that you see continue to make this possible. But big up yourself. Those of you who know that you're behind the scene and you're giving Mr. Amsterdam a little nudge here and a little nudge there and a little pep talk. Because I'm human, you know. Sometimes I feel dumb. And sometimes I feel this burden is too much for one man to carry and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, I get up and I get it daily. First and foremost, because I think it's duty. Right? But secondly, because there are people who give me that little nudge of encouragement. Good. Now that I said that, let me pick a bone with Brenda. Brenda, what's your problem with people talking about geriatrics? You know, it is this fear of people talking or calling you a geriatric or saying you're a geriatric. That I think has put such a, what should I say, stigma on the word geriatric. There's nothing wrong with the uses of the term geriatric. What does geriatric mean? Let me go to the one of the online dictionaries, because I don't want us I don't want us to believe that being a geriatric is a bad thing. Relating to old people, especially with regard to their health care, a geriatric hospital, an old person who is receiving special care, right? So you got two general meanings there. One relates to old people. And so when I say geriatric, I'm saying old people. Don't be offended, my sister, right? Don't be offended. Jerry's, as Wayne is saying, got so many privileges that I can't wait for the day when somebody will recognize me for my age and say, come to the front of the line, sir. Or Pops. Abigail John likes to call me Pops. Pops, come to the front of the line. I embrace my age. And I embrace everything that comes with it. Good? I usually tell people I ain't frightened of no old age. And in fact, I tell people I ain't frightened of death. Old age, I'm afraid of old age and all that comes with it. This morning I wake up, go tomorrow morning, my left knee out in the next morning, my right side ankle and so on. But I give thanks to life. Good? And so stop being offended, my sister. Stop being offended when I say if you feel like a geriatric or a spring chicken. Good? We all have our days. And let me tell you, there are lots of spring chickens or supposed spring chickens who can't mambo like us Jerrys. They can't do it. Some of them can't bend and touch their knee much as a toe. Right? Good. Anyhow, yes, we all are entitled to our opinion. Don't worry yourself. It's Free Talk Friday. The lines are open, as a matter of fact. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call because it's Free Talk Friday. Good? Let me remind you, or let me say to you first up, those of you who will visit the Cash App today, I will not be able to acknowledge you in real time because I don't have immediate access to it right now. Good? So, but that doesn't mean you should hide behind the fact that I can't see if you're visiting. Right? Good. Remember to support the program, man. Drop something in the Cash App, drop something in the Zelle, you know. Find a way to support the program financially and otherwise. Flash Gordon is first out the block as usual. Why y'all always giving Flash Gordon the edge? Flash Gordon always gets to set the tone. Is there wrong with y'all? Call your life.
Good morning to you and all my African black brothers and sisters in Guyana. Because Flash Garden is not a just come on your program. Flash Garden is from grassroots. Okay? Good. I pay a lot of attention on your program. And I make it like if it's a daily job I have. Don't mind it, don't pay me. Money is not all. It's love, unity, dignity, support, and honor. That comes before money. Yes. Let me say this to the teachers then. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
To the teachers then, Air Flash Garden to advise you guys again. And I call in names, 3 names I call in. Write them forward. Amanda and Basil Williams. It is time for you guys to give back something to black people, teachers, and them children. Why I'm saying this? The teachers, they have a solid case. For one of you, don't wait until the teachers then call you guys. It is time for you to represent these words Frat Garden always mention. Love, unity, and support. Hello?
Go ahead, Flash, we're hearing you.
Okay. They have a solid case because if the members then did not give like permission to sign off on a deal, they have a case to stop him, and that deal cannot go through. Why? As a union member, they pay him to represent them. They pay him to be the speaker, unless light have it black and white, that the teachers they sign and said, okay, if 2 or 3 or 5 not agree with what you sign off for, or whatever you sign off for, all of us still agree. But if the union member in agree, take into court. Move on now, Flash. The question I wanted to ask you yesterday when I get bumped off. When them Jagabat was out of office, they take Mr. Granger to court, CCCJ, for saying that Mr. Granger put somebody wrongfully at Jacob seat. Okay, then the CCJ rule in their favor because of what the Constitution direct for the country and for the citizens them. So David Granger, they have to ask that gentleman to step down. I believe his name is Patterson. And he did so. That is when Jagdio said, look at the thing. Now I'm asking you the question if you know. It is time for the coalition to do the same send body to Jagdio, so Jagdio could put them in Clarising seat or not. Frasgard, you don't know? That's why they're asking you the question. Last before I go. When black people in Guyana stop liking themselves and begin to love themselves, the wicked government and supporters them will stop punish them and keep them in poverty. The only people in Guyana and the government, y'all glad, y'all so glad that the black people in Guyana love you so much that they could stand by and see when the supporters them go for kill them black children going home from school, innocent kids. Black people love you so much. They love you so much that they allow the supporters them to go in school compound and say, hey, black people children, don't come back in school. This school belongs to Kuli, fine print. Because if I don't start coming one of these days, we're going to kill you. That is plain talking fine print. Because if you tell somebody don't come back here, what is the next action? It's for all them, punish them, and kill them. Black people have to stop loving themselves, stop liking themselves, and love themselves. You know why we're so broke in Guyana? Because we like our money. We don't love our money. Because if black people will love their money, we call people that respect them, but they like their money. Everything for black man in Guyana is like. That's why we punish him. And they got Mark who encouraged black leaders to go in the Kuli neighborhood to keep campaign and rally. For do what, my brother Mark? Remember when Mr. Amsterdam go to one of them village to highlight the problem. All of them run away. One, God met one, let stand up and talk to me something and let them know what's going on. Jack, you don't tell them when black man come in the road, run them out and all this nonsense. Could the people not leave $45,000 for one picnic a year for vote for coalition? If them come over. Just outside that said, I vote because of my conscience. Let them vote with conscience for change for the coalition. Don't encourage the opposition leaders them to go. I want to invest in the American neighborhood and remind them what the Dutch minister did to one of them 16-year-old girls. Remind them what the government allowed happen to 20 or 19 young children, young teenagers that died. Oh, by the way, before I go to, it is alleged that why those people died, those young girls died, because majority of them was pregnant. Majority of them was pregnant, and the government pay off for don't mention that. Thank you very much for your weekend, and you guys, my Guyanese brother, I love all of y'all. Have a good weekend. Until Monday.
Thank you for your call, Flash Gordon. You know, sometimes I say questions are asked and answered sometimes in the same breath. Flash spoke about the issue with the GCOM chair, the appointment of the GCOM chair, and former President Granger being taken to court, or the government being taken to court, whichever one the interpretation is, because of the appointment. President Granger, to be more specific, of Patterson at the time. Right? And the CCJ ruled in the favor of the complainants, let me call them that. It is because the Constitution laid out a particular process or procedure. Call and mute your mic or I will mute you. The Constitution laid out a particular process to follow for the appointment of the GCOM chair. The arguments in court convinced the judges that that procedure wasn't followed. You must give kudos to the PPP for going to court on it. How many breach of procedures or breach of constitutional breaches are we seeing now? For the last 4 years or whatever the number is, that are just allowed to slide. Like Flash said, sometimes we like ourselves as against loving ourselves. And Nandalal, that foul, has given his party yeoman service in terms of running to the courts. I guess he had other party lawyers or other lawyers in the party or associated with the party who supported him running to the courts on every single matter, quite frankly. Kept the coalition on their toes. The coalition in opposition, or let me say the coalition in government, had a lot of lawyers visible. I'm sure I would say they were proud to possess themselves. Legal luminaries. Senior counsel this and senior counsel that and so on and so forth. But once the coalition found itself in opposition, you want to know where these people disappeared. Where did they disappear? Shouldn't they have taken a leaf out of a page out of the book of the PPP and keep them on their toes by going to the courts as often as necessary and possible? And so the question you ask, Flash Gordon, yes, I believe that the opposition members who are lawyers, opposition supposed to get a hotshot team of lawyers, man, should be running to court every minute of the day, because there's so many things that they can run to court about every minute of the day. But unless there's a gravy train, many of them are not willing to give up these services. That's all I can see. With relation to going into Indo-Guyanese communities to campaign, I personally agree that it should be done. I'm not saying it should be the priority, but it should be done. Every political party should want to go to every single possible constituency to make their case election. And so no place must be out of bounds. Just as how the government will come to Buxton, the opposition must go to Lusignan. Flash's focus might be, hey, Lusignan is predominantly Indo-Guyanese. They are already PPP. But they're people. And they also have African Guyanese living among them, in the minority, no doubt, and other ethnicities living among them in the minorities, no doubt. And they also have educated Indo-Guyanese. Some of them do listen to reason. And so if you go and you're able to make the case, then whatever little your reward is, it might make a difference. $99 to buy something that is $100 still needs somebody to put that $1. Call your life.
Good morning, Kedat. I must agree with you on the flash. I see something tossing around on Abnew's page, PNC pages, and those pages around the place, right? And it seems it's a camp. I think it's Enterprise. People put on a camp and got a kids join PPP flags, etc. We can't fix it, people. We cannot fix it. Psychologists will tell you, and therapists will tell you, you can't. Therapy gonna fail most of the time with adults. But once you teach your children from early, it will stick with them for a lifetime. Where is our people to teach our young people about our thing? Where are they? Had we had that, people like Mark Light would not have been existing. Had we had that, Chadwick would not have been able to run up into everybody's face and spread propaganda, because our people would be strong and know about the facts and be educated politically from young. Where are we? Where are we to educate the young ones? Nowhere around. Why must we be forced to PPPs to it? With the young ones and think it's wrong. It ain't wrong. I will never say it's wrong. So we feel it failing to do it. We think it's wrong. And another thing, our people are going to quick to say, no, you can't do something like that. Who says so? Who says so? So it's time we start educating our people. There's a lot of education got it done. And I'm talking in classroom. A lot of education is needed. And unless we do that, we're going to be in the same place. We're going to be rocking our same colonial mindset. Unless we decolonize our minds and get with the program, we will never be a power structure like how PPP is a power structure. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your call. Talking about that Mark Light issue and the teachers issue, a coward called me yesterday. I'm saying a coward called me. Forgive me if my conclusion is incorrect. A coward called me yesterday because the individual waited until I was finished with the program, until I signed off of the program, to call me. And in a gruff voice said, you continue to threaten Mark Light. You continue to threaten Mark Light and mislead the teachers. It's the best the teachers have gotten, or something to the extent. But of course, I didn't hear the complete statement, statement in relation to the best that the teachers have gotten. Because once I realized where it was going, I hung up. I'm inviting that person to call the program now, We're Live. And if you can't do that now, then my conclusion is accurate. You're a coward. On the streets, somebody got P-worded as Scalia. You're a coward. You see, a lot of y'all hide behind the mobile phone and y'all hide behind your computers and so on. And y'all say things to me and say things to people and so on.
like they say, Kieran Bruce or Mudwater was hiding. Yeah, Kieran Bruce was hiding behind the Mudwater character, avatar, whatever you call it. The courts have ruled on that, and they see, well, based on the ruling, it seems as though Kieran Bruce is Mudwater. I don't know. But Mudwater said a lot of things about a lot of people over the years. I guess most of it or all of it true, but the manner in which it was said, right? They say now you do, it's not what you do, it's how you do it, and so on and so forth. Right, but here we are. You get the opportunity to see me every single morning, every single day. You could study every gray hair on my head, all in my nostrils. Any part of my body that is exposed to the camera, you could study it. So you know who I am. I guess some of you could recognize me from a distance. I know most of you recognize me from my voice, because that has been tested and proven. I've gone many places and just spoke. People, Mr. Amsterdam, Cams TV. A lot of people recognize me from my mode of dress, because I'm always decked out, as they say, in my African garb, right? So yeah, you have that benefit of knowing me, recognizing me. But you also have what I say, an unfair advantage or a luxury of hiding behind the platform and calling me to intimidate me, etc. That wouldn't bother me, just understand that. But they say as if you got seed like Balanje, put up your profile picture and call. Don't hide behind no instrument to try to intimidate Mr. Amsterdam. I passed the intimidation stage. Ask them about me since I was a little boy in school. Intimidation don't work. Good? So let me address the teachers issue, the Markite issue, the union issue, and Sitara Gal, cussing down like them. I can't even say common market woman, because those people provide a service and they must be acknowledged and loved and respected for it. I don't know what label to give Sitara Gal. But the thing, that which walks around with the Labour Minister of Education unfit for the job, had the temerity, the gumption, the gall, the obnoxiousness to make a post cussing out one of the union representatives, accusing them of wanting to derail the negotiations, etc., etc. Let me say this. As leaders, you lead, and you lead with class. Even if you triumph, at the end of the negotiation, a hard, long, winding road, even if you triumph at the end, it's something that's called humility. It's something that's called class. When you win, you don't have to dab it in the face of the opponent. That is what makes the difference between a low life, like Sitara Gal, and the person of class and proper upbringing. As it would appear, the government of Ghana and the Ministry of Education got its way. But the verdict is still out. Did they get their way by fair or foul means? There are many of us who believe that it was achieved through foul means. And you can't fault us to that. We live in a society that is highly corrupted. Corruption is the top producer when you analyze the GDP of this country. Trust me. And so the question is, did they get their way? Did they get Mark Light to sign on behalf of the teachers or the teachers' union through fair or foul means? That's the question. I am saying from where I sit, in my opinion, foul means. Foul means. And so if you get away by foul means, then again the lesson is get away and shut up. Shut up. I heard an interesting fact yesterday. The same tissue that is on the lip is the same tissue that is on your anus, because they're two ends of the same tube. Now me says so. The scientists could tell me if it's accurate or not, but I heard it. But sometimes when you hear some people speak, you ask if that tube was being reversed, if they're talking through the anus. Sitara girl falls in that bracket. Time will tell. It's a small society. They got people who like to talk. And just as how Mr. Jordan said yesterday, there were two agencies that had the letter requesting the opening of the account, and somebody leaked it. I am hoping that somebody who was a part of the negotiating team for the ministry, somebody who knows of the backdoor dealings which allegedly took place, will give us a leak, an insight into what really happened. But I'm of the firm belief that the teachers need not respect that which was signed for on their behalf by somebody who was not authorized to sign. And I'm saying somebody who was not authorized to sign because, first and foremost, the General Council is split. And if the General Council is split, it means that there is no total agreement for the signing of that agreement. And so anybody who signs is signing with less than 100% support of the General Council. The General Council, which is supposed to be all representatives of the teachers. What percentage? That's something I want to ask. What percentage of the General Council was in favor of this signing? I don't know how many persons make up the General Council, but the question is, what percentage of the General Council was in favor of the signing? Why didn't the General Council go to the membership for ratification of the decision to sign or not sign? Why didn't they? Isn't it the teachers that they called onto the streets to strike, to demand, to push the government into negotiation? So why not return to the teachers for instructions as to how to proceed, especially when there's a split in the General Council? I think common sense will advise that that is what should have been done. And so the Parklight went ahead and signed without consulting the larger membership. For me, it's not an agreement that the larger membership ought to respect. Self-determination. Self-determination. And I'm saying again, younger teachers, more vibrant teachers, more conscientious teachers, people in the fraternity must step forward for leadership and get rid of the likes of Mark Light. And those who disrespected the teachers' struggle and signed on the dotted lines for that enslavement policy. That's what I want to call it. I have no qualms about none whatsoever. And if you or whoever you are believe that that's misleading for the teachers, I know our teachers are educated and they're smarter. They're smarter than your president. They're smarter than your education minister. It is their smarts who made those. And so they will determine for themselves. And I hope they determine for themselves and don't allow themselves to be cajoled. Oh, they're going to knock you off just as how the DPP. There's a procedure for removing the DPP from office. There's a procedure for dismissing a teacher. Governments can't fire teachers. It is the Teaching Service Commission which has that authority. Good. And a case must be made for the Teaching Service Commission to fire any teacher, or it could end up in a long, winding legal battle. And people have to understand that. And the lawyers in the opposition must support their constituents by taking up these human interest matters. That is what I call them. Call your life.
Yes, good morning. I'm the person that called you yesterday. I understand you said that I'm a coward, but when I call you, you don't want to face. You cut me off. So I don't know what you're talking about. You coward, because you always cutting me off. You don't allow me to express my views. So now you're going behind the scenes talking about coward. But you're the real coward.
Well, I'm always in front of the scene. I'm always in front of the scene. I am always in front of the camera. Where are you?
Every time I challenge you, you're hanging up the phone because the facts is more than you.
What facts?
You understand?
Spew your facts, sir. Present your facts. Present your facts. I'm listening.
Talking about the General Council, that all the General Council must go back to the teachers. Do you know that the majority is what rules?
What majority? Majority of whom? Is the General Council? You want me reason? Let me reason. I'm asking you this question. Is the majority? Is the General Council the majority of the union?
But of course, there's a decision-making body of the union.
No. The decision-making body of the union is the union membership. They give instructions to their representatives in the General Council.
Sir, come, let me give you an example. When the APNU signed that agreement on behalf of Guyana, did they come back to the people and ask them if they could sign it? They're an authority. They went ahead and signed on behalf of the people. So don't mix up this thing. You mixing up and confusing people.
No, sir. No, sir. You are the one that is mixed up. You are the one that is mixed up. It is the teachers. It is the teachers. I am maintaining. It is the teachers who the union went to protest, to bring the government to the table. It is the teachers which gave the General Council instruction, nothing less than 25%. And for as long as you're going to stand for less than 25%, you had a responsibility to return to the teachers and make your case so that they can approve your case if you are the case.
That's your view. That is not how it works.
And I'm entitled to it.
So stop misleading people. That's not how it works. You understand?
You are a sad case.
Pardon me?
You are a sad case.
I'm a sad case. I'm bringing the facts.
What facts are you talking about?
Hiding and trying to
have a good day. I will get nowhere with you, and my program time is costly. Call A Live. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, Call A Live.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
The caller that called to verify, he was the one who called you. I don't think he is fully apprised of the matter. What Mark needs to do is to come out and rebuff the allegations that Corrector and others made. The General Council did not agree to sign. There was a division in the General Council. And it begs a question, why didn't the General Secretary affix her signature to the agreement? Where Mr. Barrington or Mr. Julian or whatever he is came from. So the optics are damning, and I think Mark Light, the believer and the man of God that he says he is, he needs to come out and to rebuff the allegations that the General Secretary of the GTU made. And I see a deliberate effort to break up the Guyanese Teachers Union, which is presently one of the strongest unions, and our people are not seeing that aspect. There is a ploy to break up this union. Thank you.
Thank you, and I must endorse what this call is saying, because Amy, as far as the PPP is concerned, they have already conquered the Public Service Union, and the Guyanese Teachers Union is the last man standing. And so once they can destroy the Guyanese Teachers Union, then public servants in general, including teachers, have no leg to stand on in terms of form representation. And that is what this PPP is about. They're about union busting. Call your life.
President, good morning to you, but Daki. I trust all is well with you and wish you all the best going forward. The debacle with the GTU and the president. Now the problem I have is the silence from the teachers. When I say silence, I'm not speaking about the one the juvenile right. You see, that is the problem. The remaining people, who are tricked, if it was a lecture, they were tricked. They should have already had a press conference, sit on the table and line up and express how this thing went down with the president. So they are giving the government or the people ammunition to chastise them, and it is looking like Coretta McDonald is the only bad part of the situation. Mark has already made a statement with the Empire Wave that no we haven't received any decent advice on the teachers, and no teacher respond to it. Only Coretta McDonald respond to it. You see, there is the problem. They have not come out in a mass outcry, at least from my vantage point, to say that this that you just did, that the union just did, is outrageous. It is wrong. So if they remain silent, or if there is not a major outcry, it is going to continue to look, and the government is going to continue to say that Coretta McDonald is the one causing the trouble. Right? So that is always the problem when you have the government take away the IPAGI model. The government take away the IPAGI, it is said IPAGI has 79 organizations. And all you hear from you're hearing the Samson woman, you're hearing Richard Alexander, and a few others. These black organizations are coming out and saying that this government is wrong with it to take away our parent body money. There's no black organization coming out and say anything. So that is the dilemma that they face. When the leaders fail or mislead or fail to represent their people, the masses are not responding, and that is the battle. So unless the teachers pronounce on this matter, because the General Council didn't even strike. Why did the General Council by themselves didn't strike? Right? In my view, Mark Lighter and company use the teachers as pawns. They use the teachers to put the government on the back foot. They went to the table and negotiate for themselves, in my opinion. Negotiate for themselves. But the teachers need to let the president and the union leaders know that this we are just them. What if they just throw back and relax and shoot? But there was a mayor yesterday barraging why the teachers are responding? Why they are not responding? Only Coretta McDonald. Coretta McDonald is a bad is a thorn in the session. So people need a fresh new voice. Some other executive, some other members of the except 4 people walk out. Who's the other 3 that walk out? These things must be known. These things must be known. There shouldn't be no secret. There shouldn't be no back door, no backstage crying. They need to come forward hold a press conference, make a statement, and then I'll let them meeting the teachers and respond to the thing. If not, but then they're comfortable with what was went down. Let me good morning. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Point taken. Well, it just shows what I want to call a malady that we face within this society. Everybody wants one person or somebody to represent them. Nobody wants to put their face, like Mr. Jordan say. Ghana, North Korea is well, paradise to Ghana these days, because Guyanese have been beaten into subjection and fear to the extent that even for their own rights, they are not prepared to stand up and show their faces, like the coward I just called. Right? People ask me every day, why you ain't frightened? Oh, every day you're addressing the government and their failings and talking about people and the wickedness they're doing in society. You ain't frightened? And then man know your face and so. You watch hundreds of thousands of people hiding behind this face and asking it to fight their cause. There's the problem. It's the same position Coretta finds herself in. As I say, hell might have to freeze over for you to see the dissenting voices of the General Council members. Not that they are not dissenters, but they rather hide instead of come out and say, I was against the signing, I was against the signing, I was against the signing. Let the world see that the signing wasn't supported by the General Council in its majority, number one, and number two, that the teachers really and truly should have been consulted. Call it live.
Morning, Kadaki, and morning, Guyana. The way I do see it, sir, is that African Guyanese, especially in Guyana, seems to be being outsmart at every turn. It's like we're not seeing the bigger picture, is that we keep capitulating to these racist mafia PPP party. Day in and day out, can we stand our ground? And it reflects bad on our children, that to know and to see what we are doing day in and day out. I mean, I'd express that every friggin' week, a request should be made to the information czar about information that is pertinent for us to know. But it seems like nothing is being done. We can't go to the courts for GCOM. Nothing is being done. There's so much things that we should be doing, but nothing is being done. So where does that leave us as a people to challenge all of these stuff that is going on? It leaves us in the dust. It leaves us behind, because even when it comes to leadership, none is happening. None is being provided. So our children have nothing to follow but to follow stupidity and to follow this narrative that we've continued to have, is that, man, they can't do nothing about it, stuff like that. There's so much stuff needs to be challenged. But as I think you called it out, the legal fraternity, especially on our part, just turn over and just lie down and take it. And if, as we've been saying for years now, since you've come on the air, we seem to have lost our way. Nothing is being done to actually bolster ourselves and to make us look better in this society. Here's teachers putting their life on the line, but again, the leadership bow down and kowtow to the racist party, and then we have nothing to show. And I think I saw an article where they break it down with the percentage that they got. And over the years, all it amounts to is about 3.4% per year that the teachers got. I mean, and I think a couple of years ago, or a year or two, that they had the opportunity to elect new leadership at the Guyana Teachers Union, and they went back with Mark Light instead of with Vanessa Casino and Ms. Coretta McDonald. So I guess we can say, well, they got what they needed. They got what they elected. Someone who isn't for them. And my saying again, when is it we're going to get some sense? But obviously, it's not happening to us, and that's why we're being sentenced. That's my take.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, there's so many angles from which this nonsense could be examined and spoken about. Like the caller is saying, listen, they had the opportunity to vote Mark right away, but they didn't. Let me tell you what I know about the Guyana Teachers Union. Some insiders. First and foremost, all these issues are being discussed on a WhatsApp chat, or more than one WhatsApp chats. There might be regional WhatsApp chats. That is where the issues are being discussed. And Mark Wright knows. And the rest of the General Council know. They know very well that the teachers were not in favor of that signing. They know. Every single one of them. A lot of them, even though they disagree with Mark Wright's position, will not come out publicly and say it. Because there are always those who want to stay in the quote-unquote good books of this so-called leader because there are perks to have, there are perks to be had. Overseas training, I didn't criticize a man, you're going to send me. Or I didn't criticize a woman, they're going to send me. They're going to carry me as part of the entourage. Guyanese are so poverty-stricken that they sell their integrity for little or nothing. A trip from Georgetown to Linden is important to them because, Father, because ordinarily they can't afford it or they say it's too expensive based on the starvation wages they're getting. So a lot of people are there quietly selling their integrity, quietly condoning wrong, simply because they see little soup for them along the way. It is a selfish society. People are alleging that Mark Wright's master's or whatever, doctorate, whatever, was paid for by PPP government funding. Even if it were a scholarship, it's we money. But we in the society believe that we are indebted to governments when they use our resources to facilitate our needs or our requests. And so, I got another one on the opposition side. I ain't gonna touch it. As we ain't gonna done cost so now till the year end. The man paid for me education, so the man could do no wrong. The man paid for my daughter's education, so the man could do no wrong. The woman paid for my son's education. The woman can't do any wrong. Governments through agencies do what they're supposed to do for the citizens. And we got people in the society feel that they are indebted to them. It's a mindset that we have to change. Why y'all think I just come here and make it plain and straight? I would love to have your contributions on this program. But that doesn't mean that you will dictate how it goes. I ask you to support me in doing the work that I'm doing. And I ask you to bridle me. Some people treat support as bridling. They say a mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. But I will tell you that the person eating the food got a choice, because they could spit it out so that they don't have to be muzzled. The lines remain open. I think I might have some voice notes. And please, I'm reminding you all, when you call the program, please mute your microphone until I ask you to take over. Good? Good. So I am waiting for your calls. Let me see if we have some voice notes. I know there are going to be many. Let's start with this one. Abigail John, you need a consultant? Call me when I get off the program.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, my question is this morning, why is Mr. Jagyu are saying that Mr. McDonald is the opposition? The rest is not the opposition, or they're from a different party? That's my question.
Well, that's a basic question for me. Very the answer is right there before your eyes. She's one of the dissenting voices to the signing of that slave agreement. So she's an opposition to it. But Jagdio generally is trying to make it out that Coretta McDonald is the devil, because she dares to, as General Secretary of the Union, say we ain't signing that agreement because it doesn't represent the interests of our teachers. And what does he hang around her neck? Because she is an opposition parliamentarian. She doesn't have the interests of the teachers at heart. She just wants to derail the process in the name of opposition politics. What foolishness. What foolishness. She has a mandate from our teachers. And it is that mandate that she has to represent. As she asked, I think I saw a news report with her last night, as she asked, why is the Gaou president not accused of political, I would say political interference or political preference when they call strikes in Gaisuku and within hours they're getting paid or they're getting their demands met? Why Jagdio doesn't talk about that? And so many of us listen to Jagdio and the foolishness, and some people say, yeah, for truth, she's a coalition opposition parliamentarian and she shouldn't be General Secretary. She shouldn't be General Secretary. Why should he be President of the Union? Sometimes the double standard we got. Call it life.
Yeah, good morning, Kadaki. Now, when you're talking about Gao, look at the late comer channel we used to be. It's just so this one behaving. Now, when it comes to the teachers, I don't really think, but the teachers' union had needed the support of other unions with this strike that they had. After the 1st of May, when I went to the rally, where my friend up to now, she is still impaired from the fracture issue. She can't make it today. She going back to the hospital. We were not teachers. I cannot work. I'm over 63. So I wouldn't go now into government employment. Teachers who were supposed to be with the teachers on the strike didn't go. They went to the home of the installed president for breakfast. Now, this thing with Mark Light, from the inception, when Mark Light got into the area where he is now occupying, he started to walk the way of the PPP. I don't want to say and end up in cybercrime. I think he had some brush with the law, with some alleged sexting at the school where he was. And a lot of things are being whirling around. And we know once you look to be tainted, the PPP does take you and make you into a whipping boy, as they have done with Mark Light. When they had the election for the same position that he got, fraudulently, we saw the way how they maneuvered the teachers voting like what they did in the general election to put him in where they could have their hands on him. They said, jump, he got to say how high. And from then is when he started in his way to destroy the teachers in this country. Now, 10% is no money. When we listen to Minister Jordan talking about how much billions they collect and where the money is against that of the 18 million that they keep talking about, we can all see what is going on with this country. Who they choose to give money to, they give money to. And who they don't choose, they don't give. Coming back to this teacher story, when the chief education officer was found in contempt of court, you see things got away, they push this aside and you get a domino effect. If the judge had done what he was supposed to do, put the man in jail for contempt of court, I believe that the installed regime would have treated the teachers better. But he allowed the man who is supposed to be an educator to understand a simple judgment of the court, to do what he did, and all he got was a reprimand. No, you do something wrong, go down fit. And if the judge they do that, the government would know, you know what? We got to deal properly with these teachers, because in the event we don't deal in the right way, they will go to the court and the court is taking the full steps. Why call yourself the arm of justice? And when justice is to be given, because of your political persuasion, you walk aside. And then you got people who don't deserve the full wrath of the law because they are not favored by the installed regime. They got to go down. So things in Guyana, I don't think it will come good. I don't know when. And when it comes to the DPP, you know, people just tell themselves that you get a position, you cannot be moved. I could remember it had a bad girl at GCOM in the name of, she dead now, she's from thing. When you think that all is sweet and dandy, there is a time. And when you see the right time come, man can't move the chief, they can't move the DPP, but something greater than you and I will remove the DPP. And when you see that thing whatsoever remove the DPP, that would be like Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put back Humpty Dumpty together again. Yesterday, Kadaki, I'd like to send a profound thank you to all who gave donations, special thanks to Dr. Hines, and all who in whatever way assisted the majorettes. We went to Barbies, hosted by the mayor, His Worship Mayor McIntosh. We had a wonderful trip. I traveled on the big bridge, Kanji Bridge. So thanks to all of you who have made it possible for the majorettes to have a lovely time yesterday. And that has brought me to the end of my little comments. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You have voice notes. I wish to play some myself. Y'all permit me.
Morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Who this guy bringing facts to? You gotta go and tell them dunce people. You gotta go and tell them those people the facts. Because we want the facts. So they keep it to itself.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. That guy would just finished talking about the union and the general council, which Mr. Amsterdam, he claimed that Mr. Amsterdam is cut off. Now, he is supposed to know properly that the teachers is who does elect the body to represent them. In any union organization, you're supposed to report back to the workers or back to the teachers as we call it, workers. So forget the information whether they're in favor of the agreement was proposed by the government or whoever company. Then before they go back and sign. It is too long overbearing that a lot of union representatives they jump the IRS and go and sign agreement behind workers' back, showing them money the boss. Something has to be done concerning these things with these people is do. It's too long overbearing. Sometimes they're in the heat of a discussion when they're supposed to go back to the workers, some of them is hide it, being back and tell the workers nothing. They sign overnight and they run away with more though. Right? Showing a lot of thousands of people and the boss. It's time you get rid of these people. They're no damn good. If they continue like that, we will never get nowhere. Who taking pay and the table or what's not? A time will come. In the later days, they're going to understand who is it all about. Now, the 10%. You're taking one side benefits. When the time comes that the teachers got to resign and you're paying your NIS, they're taking on your best of your last 3 years. The teachers, them going to end up losing out. They'll end up falling in a low category because their money is not enough to work on the percentage. When you do work on the percentage on them, you get 60% yes, but your salary was just 80,000. It will say $100,000 a month. We say $200,000 a year. 60% of $200,000. You're gonna the minimum. Then you're gonna hold your head and bad because them benefits don't come in on when you're supposed to get old age pension, old age NIS. Then trying to remember this thing, you know. Anyhow, I can't remember everything. So I'll take my leave. But that guy, he too one-sided. You gotta know proper union laws before you could think about. Anyway, have a nice day and a blessed day.
Thank you for that call. And I can tell you this, this voice note came from someone who has been active in the unions in this country, especially in Linden. And you know, I am really, really happy for the point that he has made. Because one of the things Mark Wright and his so-called supporters and Satire Gal and all of them keep arguing is that the non-salary benefits are great. But how does the non-salary benefits affect the long-term benefits of the teachers? Pensions and gratuities and so on are not calculated on uniform allowance, whether it has been doubled, tripled, or quadrupled. Pensions and gratuities and so on are not calculated on whether you get a meal allowance. They're calculated on your salary. So it is the salary benefits that are important in these negotiations. And if Mark Wright is saying he doesn't know that, or those who support Mark Wright and even those who support the kleptocratic government, the cabal, and I know they know that. And that is why they're insisting that they're not going to increase the salaries by meaningful percentages, because at the end of the day, they don't want those workers to get meaningful pensions and proper upward mobility. You can't take uniform allowance to the store. You can't take it to the bank to increase your savings so that you can get a mortgage. No, uniform allowance is that. And in most instances, uniform allowances are given by vouchers, and you got to go to this particular place and that particular place and buy your cloth or uniform and all of that. So these so-called allowances that they're giving, the non-salaried benefits, are not in any way improving the teachers' opportunities for upward financial mobility. And that is what is important here. And people masquerade as leaders, and masquerade that they got a interest of their supporters and followers and so on at heart, and fail to take this long-term impact into consideration, are not people worth their salt. And the people who are beside them have to decide whether or not they will kick them to the curb or continue to have them use them as stepping stones to where they want to get. I see somebody saying they understand. It is alleged that Mark Light is married to an Indian woman and they have a supermarket. I can tell you, that a Borbician sent me a whole trove of information on Mark Light. I would say from the time he was a sperm to where he is right now. But I don't get into the personal. Coretta McDonald, welcome to the program. I can extend the program. Call me and let's talk more about this situation if you have any information to share. My program is always open to you guys. Y'all don't make use. Y'all always waiting for I call y'all. Yes, Coretta, if you would like to call and talk with the viewers and clarify some of these issues, I would like you to. As a matter of fact, I would love for you to call me, because I am saying that the negotiations did not reach the end, the ultimate end. Because at some point in time, there should have been arbitration. I don't think the unions have gone to, and their employer went to arbitration. Arbitration is the final stage when nobody could agree on anything. An arbiter comes in, listens to both sides, examine the numbers and say, well, hey, this is gospel. I'll make an arbitrary award. And that is it. Everybody accepts it. But I don't think we went there. And so again, Mark, I jumped the gun. And the general counsel, even if the general counsel were to agree to sign. Call a life.
Morning, Brother Kadaki and all your viewers. Coming back to this issue with the teachers and this.
Caller, I'm sorry, I will disconnect you. I really need to take this call from Coretta. You'll call me back. Madam General Secretary, good morning. The mic is yours. Hello?
Good morning to you, Mr. Kadaki Adams, and good morning to your listeners.
Hi, her name Amsterdam. Don't disrespect my mother.
I can't hear you, sorry.
My name is Amsterdam, not Adams.
Sorry, Amsterdam, gosh, very good.
Go ahead.
So many names are going from my head at this time. Again, good morning to you, Kadaki. How are you doing?
I'm good, or livid, I should say.
All right. Oh.
So tell us what's happening. Tell us. Hi. What? Surprised to see me? Give me a chance, yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Morning, are you morning? How are you doing? Welcome to the program. It's Monday. Mondays are made for champions. I always say that. When you get a weekend to yourself and you do all that you want to do, because it's not master time no more, this place hot. When you have to drag yourself out of bed on Mondays to get out there and do master's bidding is a different thing. So Mondays have to be made for champions. You have to be strong. Welcome. to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 26 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. And today we're going to be talking about pressing on, why we need to press on, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Right? And the apology is encouraging you to press on. History must be the sail in your wind. It's very important because history is a great teacher. And anybody who tell you must forget your past if you want to move forward, tell them you're wrong. Tell them I said it wrong. You have to remember your past because your past will likely remind you of where you came from and where you don't want to go back to. Good? And so you must use history as your wind.
Do you want to know what happened in 1763 during the Berbice Revolution? On Saturday, August 31st, you can come and hear Professor Marjolaine Carrs, author of the book Blood on the River. This is your opportunity to learn what really happened hundreds of years ago, and you will hear it from the voices of those who were there. This is the first in the series of Epadaji talks on issues relevant to our people. Call 223-8852-3 to reserve your seat. Epadaji Talks, celebrating our heroes. The Berbice Slave Revolution, Saturday, August 31st, Theatre Guild, Georgetown, 16 hours. That's 4 p.m.
Yeah, so go on the 31st of August to the Theatre Guild and listen to the author of Blood on the River tell you the story of the Berbice Slave Revolution in the voices of those who were there. Good? Sometimes it's good to read about things, it's good to hear about things, but sometimes when you get up close and personal, you get to, I would say, relive those moments and get really connected to those moments. And they can be an inspiration. I know people talk about the stories of going through the slave tunnels and the holding cells, as I call them, right? When they visit the motherland. And a lot of people told me the emotional, the psychological impact their presence in those places have had on them. As one person said, you can actually smell the smell still of the captured still is there, that smell, right? And so sometimes we need to have these up close personal person-to-person conversations. Marlon Thomas, you made me smile this morning. You know why? And mind you, I'm not bashing you for anything or anybody. I smile because a few minutes ago I was talking with my brother and he was telling me of what a resource I am to our community. And when I say our community, I'm not talking Buxton. I'm talking about the Guyanese community, the African community, community of humanity. Good? Because he has been in my space several times and we talk all day, every day sometimes, very often. And this is a brother from another mother, as we see. And he sees how every day, all day, people would call me for advice and guidance and so on and so forth. And so I smiled when I saw you asking Marlon Thomas if the book is on Amazon. Why did I smile? Because if Marlon wants to know if the book is on Amazon, I'm sure Marlon can look for the book on Amazon, right? But Marlon sees me as that resourceful person that she can just ask and I will have the answer. But Marlon, I don't know. I haven't checked on Amazon for the book, right? I haven't checked on Amazon for the book. Good. But now that you're asking, maybe you can find out and let all of us know if the book is on Amazon. Right? We have to help one another sometimes along the way. But if you can't do it, then I will do it and I will share that information. Good. You'll just have to wait a little bit, not knowing and get it right now. But I can call. Good. I love y'all. I really, really, really love y'all. I love the relationship that has developed over the years with the Camps family. Right? With the Camps family. I really, really love the relationship. I know most of you, or some of you, all right, so Max Samp is telling us the book is on Amazon. Right, so Marlon, there's your answer. You don't even have to go look for it anymore. The book is on Amazon, you see? Right, good. The book is on Amazon. But you notice Max Sam didn't respond until well, I guess I could know what happened there. I was saying Max Sam didn't respond until I spoke about it. But Max Sam is on YouTube and Marlene is on Facebook. So I don't think you get to see the comments at the same time. Right? But thank you both, one for asking the question and the second for answering the question. So all of us know now that the book is on Amazon. And I saw somebody, Maureen said she bought it at half price. She bought it from Half Price Bookstore. So there must be some bookstore called Half Price. And she bought it there. Good. So you could either check Half Price or you could check Amazon. I'm sure there are other places where you could get it. Good. Yesterday, I'm elated. I'm happy. Sorry for those of you who couldn't get the entire feel of what happened at the Business and Cultural Expo yesterday. And it's something we have to talk about because, I talk about a lot of these things. I talk about a lot of these things, not for self-aggrandizement and necessarily to embarrass anybody, but so that we can learn from each other's experience and we can work together to improve the conditions of our people. Right? Good. Yesterday was good. The Business and Cultural Expo was good. There was no Cultural Expo. I'll explain that why. But the business aspect of it was good. Every exhibitor who came out there left satisfied. And I can tell you that because I spoke with each and every one of them. Fidel Albert, the book is called Blood on the River. Blood on the River. Right? I haven't contacted the people at Ipadaji, but I will hopefully, Akwesi, maybe you can give me a reminder in the course of the day to ask Ipadaji if they will live stream this discourse. Because I think it's worthy of live streaming so that those who can't be there in person will be able to get some amount of benefits from the live streaming. So I will have to contact them and ask if they intend to live stream. And I'll have to start to make the case that, places like Agda and Ipadaji and so on, when y'all got events, y'all got use Camps TV, let us do your live streaming. Good? Let us do your live streaming. Yeah, you got to strengthen what is in your neck of the woods. It's one of the things that the opposition or current opposition was beaten up for, especially when it came to media. They said they didn't strengthen places like Channel 9 and so on while they were in government. I am saying what the people said. I'm not saying what I know, right? Because I don't know. Good? I don't know. Marjolaine Cars, Professor Marjolaine Cars is the author. The book is called Blood on the River, right? And it's a chronicle of mutiny and freedom on the wild coast. Good? That discussion will take place on the 31st of August at the Theatre Guild. Good. Yes, I'm saying So I always share these experiences so people benefit from them. I took the time. No, the book is not by James Tong, Conrad. The book is not by James Tong. Marjorie Cars. Let me put it in the post so you can get it right. I why I go buying the wrong thing and end up with a story that somebody tell y'all that blood on the river. Right. Good. So there you have it. I was saying, yeah, I have to encourage places like Ipadiji and Agda and so on to strengthen Camps TV. When I got a little money to spend and so, and even if they ain't got a little money to spend, even if they got a stipend to give and so on, you know what I mean? They can very well invest it with Camps TV. It's our business are looking after, so forgive me. All right, I think Blood on the River, Chronicle of Mutiny and Freedom on the Wild Coast. You can actually get it free if you use Audible trial. You can get it free. That's Amazon. I'm getting that information from. So if you want if you want to try Audible, you'll get it free. And it's also available in paperback for $12. I think that's what I'm seeing. Taking the original work of history that uncovers a massive enslaved persons revolt that almost changed the face of the Americas. That is how it is described. Right? Blood on the River by Professor Marjolaine Cars. Anyways, good. So let's get to the order of today's business. And the first thing I want to do is give you a report, like I said, on the Business and Cultural Expo. Business and Cultural Expo. And so I notice Conrad is saying he's actually purchasing it as we speak. I'll have to send my request to Ipadiji so that they can send my request to Marjorie Cars for my commission, my sales commission. This is what you call networking, right? That was part of the reason for having yesterday's event, the Business and Cultural Expo, because we talk politics all the time. We talk culture all the time, but we do not talk economics. Right? I am sure our politicians believe that when they are pushing the political message, they're pushing an economic message. I'm sure that our cultural practitioners and our cultural representatives and leaders and so on believe that when they are discussing cultural matters and the victimization and so on, they are pushing the economics. I believe that we have to dedicate some time. Of all the time that we utilize for politics and culture and everything, I think we need to dedicate some time to deal with the economics of our people. Because if we can empower our people economically, we can bring them out of bondage faster. I'm not I use the word bondage. We can bring them out of bondage faster, regardless of who is trying to oppress them. So it's with that in mind that the Economic and Cultural Expo was organized. The Cultural Expo, I argue that culture is a business. culture is a business, culture could be business. In that, when we talk about cultural things and culture in the form of entertainment here, we have people who are good dub poets, we have we have people who are good writers, we have people who are good actors and performers and entertainers and so on. And we have to encourage our people to showcase those talents too. Because by showcasing those talents, we're opening up a way for others to recognize their talent and offer to hire them based on their talent. So in the long run, they get paid for their talent. Even if it's not a main hustle, that talent becomes a side hustle. When it is available, you take it. I usually tell people when I hit the cultural center stage with What You Right the first time, I was in my chicken coop. I was cleaning my chicken coop. And I heard the advertisement on the radio. And I turned up for the audition later in the afternoon. The rest was history. I got the role. Some will say, killed it. And I got several other roles after that to perform at the National Cultural Center. I guess I quote unquote killed that career by myself by choosing at some point in time not to follow it up, because it calls for late nights, long hours, and so on. And in my mind, sometimes compensation didn't make it. Anyways, so that was why the cultural aspect was added, because I want to encourage people to display their talents so that they can be spotted. Maybe we have to start a Buxton Got Talent or Ghana Got Talent or something. Club Twilight. Right. So in terms of the business expo, I'm happy. I must say thank you first and foremost to the Benjamin's family. The venue that we use belonged to Benjamin's Bakery, the family, and they were approached in quick time. They agreed to loan it to us to host that event. Again, shout out to them. They really made an effort to bring it way up to par so that we could have a comfortable event. Any failings you see there is not because they didn't make the effort, but again, because we have some, I would say we have some issues in our communities which need sorting out. My understanding is that someone was supposed to go and roll the place with a light or a heavy roller so that the sand would be settled and so on. For yesterday, the person never turned up. And I can relate to that. I have so many experiences with people. You hire people to do work for you and they don't turn up. Sometimes they turn up in their own time. But the venue for me was splendid in terms of what it offered us. And so, save and except for the little loose sand and so on, I think it was wonderful. So again, thank you to the Benjamins for allowing us to use that space. Every exhibitor, thank you for coming out and market yourself. I usually argue that you could make the best rat trap. If nobody know about it, you ain't doing nothing. And so it was good to see people come out and exhibit their produce, exhibit their crafts, exhibit whatever it is they were manufacturing, whether it was raw, value-added product or raw materials, primary or secondary product. I'm happy for all those who turned up. And I can say, based on my interactions with them, they too were happy that they turned out. And their joy from turning out, for the most part, I would believe, must have something to do with the patrons who came. And thank you to those people who came out and support the expo, those people who visited the booths, those people who had conversations with the producers and the exhibitors, and those people who bought something, even as a form of encouragement to those who came out to exhibit. You have done well. You have done well. Thanks to those people who remained in the background to ensure that what had to be done was getting done. And thanks in a big, big way to my arm and my leg, as they like to say, my arm and my leg. Oh, people say them picnic down my arm and my leg. Thanks to my children. They were an organization by themselves, especially my son. Continues to impress and satisfy my heart. I don't talk too much about him, but for this event, this activity, I think he really, really um, went over and beyond to ensure that I had the kind of support that I needed. Because the funny thing with organizations, and I'm saying this so that you understand, the funny thing with organizations, especially Black organizations, community organizations, we have a problem in this village, I would say, leading up to August, 1st of August, thereabout. You have a flurry of activity. You find the people to partake and do things and so on. But once that window is closed, as I would say, between, let's say, July 1st and August 1st, the organization almost goes dormant. The organization almost goes dormant. And so to execute anything, even in the name of the organization, you have to be determined that it will be done and it must succeed. Yesterday was one such example. I'm happy that we made it happen. Like I said, the exhibitors were there. They were happy. Every one of them, I took the time and I spoke with them. How was it? Good. I remember, I am not going to call the name of one of the exhibitors, but the gentleman said to me, "This was great, Mr. Amsterdam. This was great. I've gone to big expos and I've not done as much business at those expos as I did here." I spoke to another exhibitor who expressed that what they achieved there was equivalent about 3 days of regular business to them. Good. And so for me, that in itself is a story to be told. That in itself is a story to be told. And that might be the immediate impact that people see. But a long-lasting impact is that their businesses are now known because they are out there on social media due to the very short live that I did, and I have undertaken that I will be promoting those businesses for the next 2 weeks right here on Camps TV, so people know more about them. Especially that I understand that the audio was not the best yesterday. I always have that problem when I use the iPhone to go live. And so I keep saying I have to find an alternative device to go live with on the outside. Good, but all strong. Right? All strong. We're going to get it. It's going to happen. Good. If I use a camera and the video mixer and so on to go live on the outside, it's the clarity is good and everything. But understand this. Being the driving force, the person in front, in the middle, behind all of that, organizing an event of this nature, I didn't have the opportunity, I didn't have the time to really set up the infrastructure to do a live using video, camera, and mixers and all of that. So we went the shortcut way. But in time to come, we're going to keep improving on that product. I'm happy again that the people came out. I hope you've seen the products. I will, time and time again, mention the products and the program, and so that you can check them out. For example, T-Bone. T-Bones does two items, two products: pepper and all-purpose seasoning. Those people who supported Lou's Kitchen yesterday at the exhibition, at the expo, would have had a taste of T-Bone's pepper because we bought pepper from him to use with the meals. They can attest to the quality and the flavorfulness, the flavor of that pepper. So T-Bones, I'll eventually share T-Bone's contact information with you because I came outside with all the cards and so on. But T-Bones for your pepper and all-purpose seasoning. There's a lesson there for me. Those of you who are able to hear the live. T-Bone said he's always in the kitchen, as he said in the galley. He's always in the galley. And his friends like this cooking, they like the seasonings. And some friend would always pop up to him and say, man, make some seasoning for me. Make some seasoning for me. And he would, gather some, make the seasoning. And they said besides every successful man is a woman, or a strong woman. And his smart wife told him, listen, everybody coming for you, make seasoning for them. Why you don't make a business? And T-Bone's multi-purpose seasoning was born out of that. He showed me how he started. He showed me how he started with selling his seasoning in Ziploc bags, which he still does by Bam Bam Ali, according to him, right? So that's T-Bone's story there. And it's a story for you to be encouraged by because, as I always say, you don't have to have 4 products and 5 products and a big, large establishment to do business. Start small. Start where you're comfortable. Start with that one thing you know to do good and master it. That's T-Bone's here. Good. Rhonda's hair products. Rhonda had a challenge. Her child was having hair issues. And she had to find a solution for her child's hair problems. And she bought everything over the counter and it didn't work. And she started reading, she started listening to TikTok advice and so on and so forth. And then she bought together, I would say, a concoction. And she now has hair product that works. It has worked for a child, it has worked for friends, children, it has worked for adults. And so, again, somebody encouraged her, girl, you should sell this thing. You should sell this thing. And that is how we have to develop. But nobody, well, I won't say nobody, the world, the market that is out there will not know Rhonda's products because she's village-based. She doesn't advertise, I guess, because advertising is a big cost in this country like any place else. Good? And so she does her thing and her small circle, I would say, would support and so on. But the expo has exposed her. More people know about that. Why worry? Be healthy. That's another product we'll talk about, but another day. Good. Let's get down to the politics right now. Oh, before I go there, let me say last week Friday I told you I wasn't going to be able to acknowledge any contributions in real time to the Cash App because I had failed to do something. Good. So let me okay, good. Sandra and Rosamond, thank you for your visits on Thursday. Nobody visited on Friday, so I wasn't missing out on saying thank you to anybody on Friday. And Lorraine, thank you yesterday. Lorraine was in the Cash App yesterday. Thank you. And so I encourage the others, those of you, it's Mountain, I'll do something in the Cash App. Right? Yes, do something in the Cash App. Mountain, we got bills to pay. And that I said that I like to tell you all the business so y'all could understand. While the vendors and so on would have had a good day yesterday, it was a successful effort for the organizing. Good. But like these things, unless you get sponsorship and so on, from an organizational standpoint, usually it leaves a hole in your treasury. But so there's a hole in the treasury right now. So I could help follow the hole in the treasury. But we're going to do this again. The exhibitors are always saying, Mr. Hassan, you should do this thing about 3 times. You should do this thing about at least 3 times a year and so on. So look out, we're going to be hosting a Christmas market somewhere along the line. Right? Because black people spend a lot of money in the Christmas season. Black people spend a lot of money in the Christmas season. And so we must channel some of that money based on knowledge to our people. Good? What's in the news? What's happening? What's happening politically? Somebody sent me a photograph. I want y'all that says this photograph for me. I want y'all to assess this photograph for me. So I will open up the line for you all to assess this photograph for me. Because I'm not good at they say a picture tells 1,000 words. Right? I'm almost sure most of you saw this photograph before. Have you not? It's Mark and Priya. Mark and Priya. Y'all have seen that photograph? Mark and Priya. Now there's a photograph making the rounds of Mark Light and Priya Mani Chan. I tell you something. I don't know when the photograph was taken. But I will tell you, if I were in the position to dispose of any of these 2 people, I'd be vexed bad. I want to be very, very vexed. Yeah, look at the photograph. Do some picture study. Yes, I recognize my first comment when I saw the photo. This looks like a label. Oh. It looks like a Labor Day photo. But a picture tells 1,000 words. And so is it just Labor Day it tells you? Call your life.
Yes, good morning to you and all my African brothers and sisters in Guyana. Happy morning to all of you guys. Congratulations for your expos or whatever in the world. Anyway, I will open up my talk this morning with these words. My black brothers and sisters, it is time for you guys love your money and love yourself. Stop liking yourself and like your money. You do that for 90 days and you will get benefit from it. Because you will be sending a strong message outside there, especially to the business people. If you're not with me, you are against me. So I will not spend my money, all of it with you. I will take care of my black business force. And if I don't have it there, then I will come to you. I'm still spending, but I will not spend 100%. I always say this here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
That is politics now for Flat Garden. Mr. Nigel Hughes is not running, will not be coalition. He is running for president. I said before, I will say it again. And because of that, it will keep black people again in punishment and poverty and high-class living. Why? Because our vote will be splitting. Because nobody, no Indian party, no Kodi party is not out there challenging Jagyu. So, because they love themselves and they love their money, that's why Jack David always beat us, because we're the one splitting our vote. And I believe it's time for Mr. Now you should come out playing and tell us he is running for president and he's running arm of his own. And hello, can you hear me?
Yes, scholar.
And let us come together, because remember what happened to us. You know, let me say this here. That's when we like introduce the word of God to my black brother and sister. Remember the prodigal son. The prodigal son be like himself and like money. When he go to his father, he said, look, give me what belongs to me. Let me go now. I cannot wait until they die, daddy. And the father said, okay, give it to him. Then he go. And when he wastes all, because of the word like, not love. Who could understand Flash Garden? Because of the word like, not love. But when he acknowledged that what he has done and what he's doing at the present, he said, no, I will arise and go back home. I will arise and go back home. It is time for black people to arise and go back home to WPA and PNC. And are you suffering this stop? Teachers will be respect. Our children will be respect. But because we don't want to love ourselves and love our money, we are punishing and we blaming other people for our punishment. No. Hamilton Green could be a testimony of what we're saying. Hamilton Green believe PNC. But when you realize that, I burn and go in PNC, I'm going to return back home. And we open our hands. If you want to win next year's election, we have to go back home to WPA and PNC. A vote for AFC is a vote for PPP. And I will say this here before I go. I'm blaming Wickford Board. He is keeping black people in punishment because he confusing them. Because when he come out and say black people in Guyana must vote for Mr. Nigel Hughes and AFC because they get vision. No, my brother, you're totally wrong. God don't like what you're doing. I've been not alone stand up when WPA closed them door. But WPA still encourage me for one vote. That is why I give WPA a thumb up for that. It's still, I'm still encouraging people to go every day, go out and vote. But AFC words was, oh, by the way, AFC is not going to take part of the election. Why? When you guys know that Jack Joe control everything in Guyana and control people's life. And now Richard Borg would tell black people, don't vote for Arby Norton, Mel. Don't vote for Arby Norton. I dare you guys. I dare you guys with that nonsense. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your call. I thought Flash got me to tell me about his picture study. Call it life.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, everyone in the Guyanese diaspora. Good morning to all Guyanese. Like to say, I agree with much of what Flash Gordon just said. Let me say, over the weekend, I had the opportunity which Mr. Amsterdam provided with the Business and Cultural Expo. That was a good small business inspiration. I really enjoyed it. You know, business is connected to culture because culture of any people is what inspires business. Culture inspires business.
if we look at the Jews, they have what you call kosher. And if people, those of us who live in the United States or live overseas amongst Jewish people, you'll see that everything is centered around their Jewish culture. And if you look at Jewish businesses, everything deals with their culture and kosher. Kosher is the way they prepare their foods. And there's a big economy, a multi-billion economy, which fuels off of the Jewish culture, kosher. Muslims have what we call halal. When I was growing up in Guyana as a small child, there wasn't halal in the markets. Halal existed, always existed for Muslims, but halal wasn't really practiced in Guyana. I know some people are going to think halal was practiced. Halal was practiced amongst many Muslims, but halal was not practiced in the market when you go to the market in Guyana. Today in Guyana's market, if you go to buy chicken, you can't buy no other chicken, by and large, unless it's what? Halal. That's across Guyana. Even black people who normally sell chicken at the back of the day, at the backyard of their farm, and sell a little about 50 chickens per month or 50 chickens per week, they're getting pushed out of business. You know why? Because the halal business pushing them out of business. If you're doing a barbecue on the grill in the quarantine region, people come and say, is this halal? If it's not halal, they're not buying. Halal ain't got to do with African people, you know. Halal is mostly in Guyana. In Guyana, halal is mostly a East Indian Muslim, the majority. We have African Muslims in Guyana, but by majority, it's an East Indian thing that's been pushed with regards to Islam. So culture dictates business. So what is the African Guyanese culture for business in Guyana? That's the question I want to get to. Where is our dietary culture that is uniform as halal or kosher? Of course, we got metagia, we got cassava pole. Is that unified? Is that under a particular system that we have to follow everywhere we go in Guyana? We have such a thing called ITAL, which the Rastafaris do push and have very organized. So I just want to highlight ITAL, which is you're dropping the V and you're putting the I, make it vital, turn it to ITAL. I just want to recognize our African culture, and we can see how ITAL food across the world has been successful in Jamaica and in New York and in Canada and up and down Guyana under the Clark border market area. So when we tap into our culture, we can make business. To get back to what Mr. Flash Gordon talked about just now, here is my basis for why I agree with what Flash Gordon said. I remember about 2 years ago, about a year ago and a half ago, when Kemraj Ramjatan of the AFC pulled out of the Cummins-Burger Accord. We were on this show. We were up in arms about it. You recall? Some of the frequent calls were up in arms about that because that seemed to be so wrong. And we were wondering, well, what are we going to do with Sherrod Duncan? Because clearly Sherrod Duncan was making inroads into traditional PNC and African Guyanese strongholds with his party platform of the ANC. Ringing the bell. We were all together and we noticed that he was making inroads. We liked him. He made the inroads. We hung up. And then after they made sufficient inroads, they pull out the Cummins-Burger Accord. And we said, that don't sound right. That don't sound right. So we had to go through some months, about a year or so. Now we begin to see what's going on with the AFC. Now they feel they got enough of our sympathy. They feel we emotionally attached to them. So now they could come with the next stroke and show their hand even more. Right? And that's very disingenuous. Because one time you come and hug up with us, emotionally get us to support you, and then now you're pulling out. And when you're pulling out, you're taking PNC voters emotionally attached to the bell. You're taking them with you. And that is disingenuous. And what Rickford Bork is doing is also disingenuous. They both have a right. They both have a right. But Rickford Bork made his bones on Desmond Hoyt's credits. Rickford Bork made his campaign on the PNC on social media. And for Rickford Bork to try to pull out and pull the rug out from under a PNC twice elected leader, that is disingenuous to the 16th power. Because that's like walking with me to the finish line just to see me fail. Rickford Bork invited Aubrey Norton, all of them, to the DC conference. And then you're going to pull out on him? Nigel Hughes wasn't at the DC conference, Bork. So I am left at a loss. Why this switch up? Why this sudden switch up? And Rickford Bork is such a PNC man he claimed to be. So I am left perturbed. AFC pulled out from the Cummins-Burger Accord, and they were rolling with us. Then Burke tells us he is a child of the PNC. Then he wants to pull the rug from under the PNC and give it to AFC. So there's a common denominator there, as though that's something that they plan to do. I say Burke is doing good work. But that particular move, Mr. Burke, no. That is, I don't know what you call that. That hurts me to the core. That hurts a lot of us to the core. That's like a Sharon Das move. Now, so that has got a lot of people. So as Flash Gordon said, as a lot of people are still on the ground, the AFC need to come out and say what they're going to do. I think we should go in a coalition together. As I said, I support Conrad Norton as a leader of the PNC to be president. Dr. Hines is also very qualified to run, and I think he could be prime minister, in my opinion. I think Nigel Hughes could be on the ticket and serve well as Attorney General and to help with reforming the Constitution and reforming the legal system. But the AFC will have to say to the public that they will not correlate in the way Sharon Das did. They need to sign on paper. Don't give your votes to nobody. Then they go in there and they do what Sharon Das did. Hear me clearly before I conclude. What Sharon Das did is not illegal, but it's unethical. It's immoral, based upon parties' expectations. It would not be immoral in society, but if you expect a person to hold a party line, that is immoral party-wise. It's unethical party-wise, but it's not illegal. So what coalitions should do is they should ask the AFC to sign an agreement that they would not collate without consent from majority of the people in the PNC and the other parties. Because we can't have people going up there doing what Sharon Das did and then claim, well, shucks, he took new votes to benefit PPP. That's what Sharon Das did. And we're saying you can't take news votes like Schumann has done to go and benefit PPP. That is so wrong. That is against contractual agreements. That is so ethically wrong. That is so ethically wrong. So if Mr. Nigel Hughes and Kemba Jamzatan and Rafael Trotman and the rest of them want to show that they're sincere, then sign an agreement like you did with the PNC before to say you will not allow what Charandas did to happen again. And you will not take our votes on the one expectation and do something contrary to the will of the people with our votes. This conversation needs to continue. And if political leaders claim they got wisdom, they will set this stuff early.
Wrap
They
up,
will
Coffee.
set it early. Thanks again for accepting the comments, Amsterdam.
Thank you for your call. Sometimes we gotta stop having this pie in the sky, what should I say? Imagination, you know. Which political party could say that it will not allow another Charandas issue to take place? Which political party? Charandas was an individual. I mean, he is a political representative. He was a party representative. Many argue that the EFC was aware of what was happening. I argue that the whole damn government was aware of what was happening. And even if the EFC was aware and the government was not aware, I blame the government. Who is in government and doesn't have a tab on its representatives? Especially when it comes to a matter like no confidence vote. You're quite aware that the PPP had to get support from somebody in your camp to succeed with a no confidence vote. Which serious, self-respecting politician, never hold government now, will not start to do the necessary work to gather the information on who the possible mole is. In terms of the government, you got to show a whole lot of resources at your disposal, and you can't flush out one mole at Charandas. Even if you were representing the entire AFC, which many people argue he was, I don't know. You're telling me you couldn't gather information fast enough, or you just paid scant regard to the information that people provided you to stop Charandas. No agreement can't stop a Charandas. It is an individual who will represent that decision. And so the organization, even if it is backing it, will say, well, here, that man is an individual, we didn't know he didn't do. What we have to do is pay more attention to the people we have around us. Those who like to walk with you to the finish line and hope or watch you fail. No agreement can't stop that. There's one thing I totally disagree with Coffee. The other thing is, generally, was it worth if I declare that come hell or high water, I will call it? I will coalesce. I can join the coalition. Hell or high water, I can join the coalition. So that means I ain't giving you nothing to work hard for. If Guyanese know that every political party and the opposition is going to join a coalition that will remove the PPP, then I guess Guyanese don't have anything to work for. If Aubrey Norton knows that Nigel Hughes is going to join the coalition, then I guess Aubrey Norton doesn't have to bring his A game. Likewise, if Nigel Hughes knows Aubrey Norton will join with him, then he doesn't have to bring his A game because they're going to join with me anyhow. We have to understand politics. It is more beneficial to play hardball politics, as I would say. Go there and do your individual work. Go convince people to join your political party. Go convince people to throw their support behind you. Go convince people to bring resources to your party so that you can do the work that you need to do politically for them. And so when it comes to the time to discuss coalition, you have something to throw on the table and say, this is what I bring. As against people asking you, what you bring to the table, we ain't see nothing. If you do enough work and you do hard enough work, you might be able to say, bring your whole darn table. So these things that we're quarreling about, Nigeria going out there and doing his political work and promoting himself and his party, is not anything I can lose sleep over. He's doing the right thing. Aubrey has to do that. David Hines has to do that. On the lane and this new thing again. Right? Encourage your political leaders, the ones that you love, the ones that you adore, to do work that is similar or better than Nigel Hughes is doing. Don't beat up Nigel for doing what has to be done naturally politically. Canvassing has to be done. People got to go there and sell themselves. People got to convince others to join the party. That is political work. If we want it any other way, we ain't doing politics. We must be doing Sunday school. And even if you're doing Sunday school, which is church, guys tell you go there and win souls. You got to go and, what's the word we use? Canvass people and bring them to the house of the Lord. I don't know why we're making a fight out of that. Bridget, good morning. Call your life.
Yeah, good morning, Kadaki. And good morning to all the listening public. All the points that Coffee and Flash Garden bring, they are good points, and I wouldn't add to that. What I'd like to think is about this election. Now, the three persons were on the line top, the three men, know who they were. And I think that now that a lawyer with the capacity of Nigel Hughes should jointly get into GCOM for certain points. The last election was to be an election where you derive the government from what the count at poll stations. However, that was changed to the recount to derive the rule, the government. Don't mind they are fraudulent. Now, when was local government elections, they added to it that you must use your phones to show who you voted for. And when you use your phone that you voted for the cup, you are allowed to work. And those who did not show whom they voted for are being penalized. In my village, the $40,000 workers all had to vote for the PPP because the house slave made that possible. And they had to come out from the poll station and show him, because he was by the polling places, and he had his other reps with him, and they had to show these reps that they voted for the PPP. And if they didn't do that, you understand, some of them lost their jobs. And that was being done all over the country. And I think that instead of that, this thing waiting, and when you meet the 59th hour, then you're trying to put things in place. I think now is the time, the opportune time, when these men that are in the top running should seek out full uses of Nigel Hughes, and then we will know if he's for us to go to the courts and have certain matters ironed out with GCOM. Because GCOM cannot teach you for the to work election day and teach you that your ballot is sacred and these type of things. And in the same instance, GCOM is allowing people to go into the voting compartment, take out a picture for who they had to vote for in this dictatorship government and show it. Police, military persons had to show that they voted for the cup. Next, in the Amstel, there is a call who calls in and Latin sometime last week. He made it in his note that nothing isn't respected in the Amstel. That's a lie. Now how the Amstel ended up as PPP. The last local government election, the Amstel for some reason decided to use the emblem of a bulb. So many people who got into the voting compartment, seeing the bulb, did not vote because you had the bulb and you had the cup. And I feel that once you are up new or PNC, put up your emblem where you got top mal with. Because don't matter who run for the PPP, all the way, the PPP had the cup. So the thing we see people trying to come out and destroy the PNC party from within the village, it is wrong. And when you as a black person, an African person, will get up on programs like these and spew things like that, it causes unrest. And the installed regime listen into these programs. And when things like these are being said by our own people, they run with it on the propaganda state. And bad things are spread like wildfire. All of it goes. So I want people who listen to that comment to know that Norton is not hated in the Amstel. Norton, Leader Norton, is respected in the Amstel. And by a fluke chance, the PPP got into the village office. And the PPP is making all of them, I want to say the word, shit brick because of putting them into power. Because of outsmarting the bulb, and they were forced to vote for the cameras. I want the leader of the AFC, Mr. Nigel Hughes, to make certain if he doesn't do anything, let him take GCOM to court with other people to let GCOM produce a proper manifesto for elections to be had in this country. GCOM must not tell us that our ballot is sacred between ourselves, God and whom we have voted for, and still institute that we walk with a camera to show to them that we have voted for the PPP. Our Minister Jordan said that North Korea smiling to see that they below Guyana. It is so true. The next expo, I will be there. I was tired to Daki, and I had to set the plans and transportation and all kind of thing at the neighbor. But I pray that you do one for Christmas, I will be there. And kindly put up the numbers because I would like to go to that forum. Later down you could put up the number. Bye-bye, thanks.
Thank you for your call. It's 22 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. You tune to the Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Gidaki Amsterdam. Call it live.
Morning, Kadaki. Congrats on that move you made weekend gone, dude. That was wonderful. We need it a little bit more often so our people could come out and show their thing, and and to the people who's just concentrating, on their village, they could still put their stuff up on Facebook. Use all the medias that you have out there. You don't always have to be. You just got to make sure you don't put prices and for say certain verbiage. Don't put the because you wouldn't get the viewership that you deserve. Free, as I should say. To those who beat it up on Nigel, a lot of them go to church. You don't beat up on the Anglican Church because the Anglican Church going out there and doing its outreach, or the Pentecostal going up and doing its outreach to gather members into the church. You don't beat up on them, right? Because we all going and praying to the same Father. The mission is the same. It's just that we're doing it differently. It's the same mission. It's just that we're taking different paths politically, right? At the end of the day, you're going to see everyone is going to come together on the same road to get rid of PPP. And I have one last request to make to you. I don't know if you could grant this. This thing, Miranda Brown, there is nothing that we could teach her, neither there is nothing we could learn from her. I've seen her on Dr. Hines' show. Everything that Cam's TV got, she's behind like a leech. And all she does, she's toxic, and all she does is rally up a lot of people who are not as stoic to stay away and to ignore her, right? She just rallied them up, and then what happened? Our people missed the whole point of the conversation of the day, the morning, or the night. We need to get rid of, begging you, I know it's your program.
Like they're working a flash, Gordon.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're waiting for me to respond? Short answer. Miranda Brown ain't going away.
She ain't going away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miranda Brown has to really offend me for me to remove Miranda Brown. I'm being serious. I say from the inception, we are adults and we have to understand what our mission is about. What our mission is about. You can't be like a foolish dog and bark at every flying bird. It's as simple as that.
Well, as I said, everybody's not as stoic as some of us.
Good. Encourage everybody to be as stoic as some of us. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Good. Listen, I don't know about y'all, you know. If you're preaching and you're preaching only to the converted, what are you preaching for? Everybody already converted, what are you preaching for? Y'all talk to me, I'm trying to understand that. As far as I remember, according to the good book, Christ didn't tell his disciples go and preach to yourself. Can you imagine me having a conversation to say, I lecturing Dr. Hines or even Ari Norton on being involved in Guyanese politics? That makes sense. Or supporting the opposition? That makes sense to me. They are already so persuaded they're supporting the opposition. Do I only want people who will sit and listen to me on this program? No. I want people going to engage me. I want people going to challenge me mentally, even if it's stupidness they're talking. So why you think I want to get rid of Miranda? Or I will get rid of Miranda? Yeah, no, man. You gotta understand this thing. Right? It's 60 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. Let me shout out the people from Mocha. Mocha has a multi-purpose co-op. And they were out there yesterday. They came as a show of support to the Buxton Business Expo. And I, like others, I'm grateful that they came. And I'm thinking in my mind, and somebody could take the message back if you find the people you want to deliver this message to. I wish our Buxton farmers will take a page out of the Moko farmers' books or book. I wish our Buxton farmers would be so organized to move from primary to secondary production. Some of you saw pumpkin, what was it, pumpkin jam or pumpkin jelly coming from the Mocha Co-op. Yes, it was the Mocha Co-op that was displaying pumpkin jelly or pumpkin jam. And they had pumpkin bread. And they had banana bread. Well, banana bread is kind of popular. Good, but pumpkin bread. Chicken ham, I've ordered about chicken ham before. I have a friend who loves chicken ham. As I know about chicken ham and so on. But when you look at Strong Hope, is a business. Strong Hope is one of the team members of the Mocha Co-op, or they work together. When you look at Strong Hope, they're doing coconut water, among other things. But I tell you the story of the coconut because I love coconut water. I love coconut water. I got 2 trees in my backyard. Sometimes I could go and jump down a coconut from and so on. But I will still support people who sell coconut water. Coconut water is politics in this country right now. The people who dominate the coconut production industry right now are Indo-Guyanese and maybe Amerindians. African Guyanese barely got a leg in the coconut industry. And so when an Afro-Guyanese decide I'm going to do some coconut water business by the roadside, he's at the mercy in most instances of the Indo-Guyanese supplier or those who bring coconut from Cameroon and so on. Right? If they feel like selling today, you can get, we call it load to sell. If they don't feel like selling, you get no load to get. So they control his hustle. And so I questioned the person who with the Strong Hope coconut water. I said, tell me something. Where you source your coconut from? And I learned that they have a farm where they get coconuts from. So I said, would you be willing to supply African Guyanese? Do you supply African Guyanese coconut vendors? And we had a whole discourse about that. Their priority is, as I would say, to maximize the income they can get from the plantation by moving from primary production to secondary. They do plantain flour, Mocha Co-op. They do sweet potato flour. They do this flour, that flour. They take the raw produce and they process it and they produce these flours. Longer shelf life, higher market value. Our Buxtonian farmers, I know they have their challenges. Farm to market road, among other things. But I'm saying I want to see that kind of unity among our Buxtonian farmers, that they too can shop in their numbers. And I'm hoping that they get a message, they take an example out of the Mocha farmers and the co-op that they have established. I was talking with one of the instrumental persons in that Mocha Co-op. And she said to me yesterday, the things that we brought here, all they're organic, freshly reaped from our farms. We're focusing on producing more vegetables now. So all the vegetables here is what we produce. And those that we were unable to sell, I want you to listen to this. Those that we were unable to sell at the expo, we have a shop in the village that we will send it to. We have a shop in the village that we will send it to. Now, you can interpret it two ways. It is either the co-op owns a shop in the village, or the co-op has a relationship with a shopkeeper in the village that will sell the produce. That is networking. That is supporting each other. That is growing your business. And again, I'm saying, I wish, I pray, I hope for Buxtonian farmers to see that example and emulate it. I could tell you all the story, but I ain't gonna tell the story. Right? It's 10 minutes to the 8 o'clock number. Let's see about voice notes. I think yes, so. Good morning, my good friend John Abraham. I understand John has done what many of us are afraid to do or were afraid to do, and some of us have done and so on. Congratulations, boy. Mr. Abraham, I now have to address you as. And so, in case you didn't know, you don't know. John, them girls know that you're now a married man. I am doing a public good here. They ain't got trouble, you know. Voice note.
Yeah, Kadaki, good morning to you, sir, and the listening public. I posted a message here to you Friday, but I didn't hear you respond to it, so I'm asking again. Is it possible, seeing that Mark like signed for the 10% on behalf of the teachers and the union, is it possible one member could move to the court to have a review over that signature, seeing that all members of the GTU did not agree for the signing of that 10%? So is it possible that a member could move to the court, or that's a done deal, seeing that it is signed or was signed by the GTU president? That's my question. Thank you.
Long and short answer. Short answer is I think somebody could move to the court and challenge the agreement. Right? Long as Bilal Mohammed. Yes, hit me up in the WhatsApp later. Give me a reminder. I'll send you the information. Yeah, I think somebody can move to the court. And I'm saying that because in listening to Coretta McDonald, I heard her say the union has signers. I think that's the word she used. Signatories. I'm saying. There are specific persons who, according to the maybe standing order, maybe rules of the Guyanese Teachers Union, who will be required to sign on any agreement to make it valid. Definitely in a union, you have to have the signature of the president, the general secretary, and maybe if there's a vice president. At least I'm sure those three persons must sign. Or two out of those three persons must sign. And Coretta McDonald said to us, maybe only one of the signing officers signed, and I would assume that is Mark Light. There were other signatories, but they were not the authorized signatures. And so, yes, I believe somebody could move to the court to challenge it. But y'all know me, I always thinking outside the box. Moving to the court got cost and all of that. Why not go back to work as is required on the first day? Maybe stay the week and strike again. There's nothing to say that because we agree today, we can't disagree tomorrow. Right? There's nothing to say that because we agree today, we can't disagree tomorrow. And so I believe there are lots of ways of throwing a span in the works, if you want to call it that. But short answer, yes, I think somebody can go to court. And I think at least the union should go. Somebody should go to court. I also think they need to make every effort, every legitimate effort, to remove folks from Mark Light and his supporters folks like Mark Light and his supporters from the hem of the union. You know, I keep telling you all this thing. I don't know this for a fact, but it is alleged. It is alleged that the Light has a car dealership. It is alleged that the Light has a supermarket. If the Light got a supermarket and if the Light got a car dealership, you think the Light cares about whose monthly salary can sustain them? And what 10% means to them? Note what 10% means to them. Because that 10% will not necessarily affect the Light. Because the Light got money coming from car dealership. The Light got money coming from supermarket, allegedly so. And most importantly, by playing to the government, the Light has accumulated some favors. And so maybe the Light now will be able to stockpile vehicles and only pay duties when they're sold, like some people. Not everybody gets that privilege. Maybe it is something that the Light was hoping to get a long time ago, because it means the Light can now invest more capital into acquisition of vehicles to sale, because capital is not going to be tied up on paying duties and wait for the vehicles to sell. You see, a lot of us look at what happens when it happens, and we believe that is the beginning and end of it all. These things have long-reaching impact. A lot of people accusing the Light of taking a payoff and so on. But payoffs are not necessarily always in cash. Favors are bankable, you know. Good. And so those are things to consider. Why the Light would trust into the dark like that? When the dark, under ordinary circumstances, will affect the Light. Can you imagine if the Light, well, I don't know. What's the rule? Is the Light required to be in classroom as the leader of the union on a daily basis? And if that is so, and if the Light didn't have these alleged other sources of income, then the Light would have been concerned that the 10% ain't making no sense. And the Light would have been prepared to fight harder. So a lot of people like to ask, you get evidence that this and that and the other? Sometimes circumstantial evidence, they say, you know. You only got to look at people's behavior and you understand. Oh, man with a car dealership and a supermarket could really be concerned about a man who ain't got none of that. Eh? Who feels it knows it. And if you ain't feeling it, who you know? Vice note, yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. That picture says 1,000 words. If you listen to Coretta McDonald on these programs that she's talking on, she was on Norman Brown's show, I think it was yesterday. And if you listen to her, you would understand what went down, what Mark Light did to the teachers. And I believe it's time for Mark Light to go. The teachers must come together and remove Mark Light from there. Find a way to remove him. He's not looking out for the teachers. Mark Light is looking out for himself. And that is very, very bad. According to Miss McDonald, he's a second Sharon Das. Right? So, Guyanese, you guys have to really look when you have these elections. Make sure that you pick somebody that can look out for you. I sure if they had select Vanessa Kissoon, this would have the government would have get a tough fight on their hand with Coretta and Vanessa. So it's time for Mark Light to go. He show who he is, and he's not good for the teachers. He's not good for the teachers. The word on the street is he get the brown bag. So he get the brown bag. He don't care about the other teachers. It's so sad to see how he behaved that way. So you people got to do something, because if y'all continue to sit down and depend, y'all will not win this election. Y'all have to fight to win this election. And Guyanese have to stop taking the PPP money. Stop taking the bribe with the bribe me, y'all. That is my take for today.
Thank you for that voice note. Let me tell you, let me shout out Nima Flubes, MP Nima Flubes. MP Nima Flubes took the time after church yesterday. So let me tell you, she went to church and she came to the expo. A lot of the exhibitors were asking me and patrons were asking me, is where the opposition people that we ain't seen none of them? Is who representing East Coast in Parliament or Region 4 in Parliament? Is whether there who does represent this side? Why none of them in the here? I'll take note, people paying attention. That's all I want to say. I didn't expect, quite frankly, I didn't expect any of the political figures to really turn up, because I know they don't turn up to anything. But activities like those present an opportunity for them to show their presence, rub shoulders, and give encouragement to the people. If you're the MP for the East Coast, let's say, if you're a regional representative on the East Coast, if you are a councillor on the East Coast, especially Buxton Falls, because this is an event taking place in Buxton Falls, and I like y'all see my face when I'm talking these things, because I want y'all to understand that while I'm not being malicious, I'm not fearful of people being angry and so on, and seeing me like an enemy, and that don't really bother me. I speak truth. If you are all of those things I mentioned, including a councillor at the Buxton Falls NDC, where it is in your neighborhood this thing is taking place, don't you see the benefit of just showing up and encouraging your farmers and your producers who are exhibiting their stuff there? Even if you're broke, just showing up and shaking their hand and say, I see I got some nice plants in there, but what are some of the challenges they get in producing this planting? They get information to go back to the NDC to share. I've seen one councillor, unless I don't know them all, but they could tell me if they've been there. Those that I know, I haven't seen one councillor at that event. I saw an MP named Nima Flubes. She came all the way from Mocha. She is a shadow minister for culture, youth, sports, and culture. She is the shadow minister for agriculture. One who is the shadow minister for agriculture or business, community development. Our leaders don't know. Well, I can't say they don't know, but they don't recognize opportunities for providing leadership. And so they miss it, and people become disgruntled. People vex with them. They ain't got no interest. Why they ain't show up here today? A number of persons were asking me that. And I was like, y'all can ask me. I don't know. I don't know.
Karaki, good morning to you and your listeners. Karaki, my contribution this morning. The PPP is using a lot of strategy on black people. Reason for saying that, sufferers doesn't care about race nor color. Barra Jack there and them using the money to buy the hungry black people, buying them out. Addition to that picture with Manichan and this guy, they're using the woman to cripple the men too. Where are the opposition? Where Mr. Norton? What Mr. Norton doing? Mr. Norton just dormant. Is a person I like. Why? Because he have experience in the field of politics. But Mr. Norton is not active. He's not operating like a revolutionist. And there is where the problem is. As a opposition leader, you are to be active. People must be hearing your voice. Mr. Norton just dormant. That's my contribution this morning.
I see this thing, but good morning. I see this thing before, and months ago, and I see it again.
Can't continue playing this voice note. The distraction is too much background noise. Understand when you're sending a voice note, at least drop the volume of whatever is in the back.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. How are you this morning? I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and I was discussing your opinion on the signing of the teachers' package. And I was making your point, but my friend said, don't bother to the man Amsterdam. Watch what the man do. That man closed down one school and open one rum shop. That he not care nothing about teacher and children in there. No?
I'm happy for that information. Let us say, Marshall, or let me start by this. They say sometimes you don't look at the messenger, watch the message, right? I see too much message in this one. But the messenger got a lamp as the display image. Like I say, we got some coworkers that talk to me sometimes. They don't want I see their face, but they see me face every day. And I'm seeing a previous voice note, which I want to play because it might give me, let me see if I find it. Good. I hope it plays. Oh, it's unavailable. Because I would get an insight into who this person is or where they stand. But I like to show you how my face when attacking these things. I closed down a school and I opened a rum shop. Yes. But I've been fighting from the get-go for my people. I've always stood on the side of my teachers. I've always stood on the side of our children, our students. Let the record show. Check my history. I've always supported the cause of teachers. I went so far for the cause of children to start a feeding program. I always partner with schools. Unlike Mark Light, who, according to you, his friends say, right, got teachers' interest at heart. So there is proof in doing and there is proof in speaking. Do you want me to tell you the circumstances of me closing down a school? I can tell you that. There's some people who might know by now. I've never said this. I can't remember saying this a whole lot publicly because, again, of my commitment. But sometimes when people question you, you got to answer to show that you ain't got nothing to hide. I didn't close down my school and open, according to y'all, a rum shop because I want to sell rum. Or I think there's more money to get from rum than education. As a matter of fact, I prefer a society where there are more educated people than rum drinkers, but educated people can be rum drinkers too, right? But let me give you some context. I operated a private school, which you know by now. The coalition won the election in 2015. I'm a political activist. I'm a quote-unquote party man. I serve my party. I serve the people of this country. I'm always interested in serving the people of this country. Rupert Wupnerai was appointed Minister of Education. The belief at the time, based on white paper, blue paper, green paper, ideas, whatever, was that, listen, two sectors of the education landscape needs to be fixed, needs to be organized properly. One is private schools. They need to be some level of organization and integration of private school into public school management and so on. Mr. Amsterdam, you've been in the private school business quite a while. You've got an understanding or an idea what happens in private school. We would like you to come and coordinate what is happening in private school with public policy. We would like you to coordinate that. Also, Parent-Teachers Association. We believe that a Parent-Teachers Association could be an asset to schools if they're properly organized. So we want you to coordinate these two things, Parent-Teachers Association and private schools. That was an opportunity for me to serve nationally or serve the national interest, the nation's interest, to move its education forward, structure, and whatever was needed to organize education in a private area and to improve everything. So I was called, quote unquote, the greatest service in terms of education and private education, which I was involved in and so on. Those who know this story will tell you that I said on several occasions to those who asked me to do it, I'm operating a private school. If I'm going to take this job, I will have to close it because I don't want a conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. I couldn't be operating a private school and working for the government supervising private schools or coordinating private schools. And so I indicated to those who were negotiating, let's say, my transition from where I am to where they want me to be. And I remember saying clearly, you need to confirm that this is going to happen by a specific date so I can give my students and parents adequate information, adequate notice so that they can get into other institutions before the term starts or when the term is going to start, the new term. I was giving every assurance, Mr. Amsterdam, we have already decided this is what we want you to do. Go ahead and close the school. I closed the school. I closed the school for that reason. I didn't want a conflict of interest. I want you to get into my mind. Explaining me to y'all now. It took at least 2 years running. And that is why I tell y'all, my politics is not about personal gains as many others. It took me 2 years running about approximately for my employment to be signed off on with the Ministry of Education. It never happened because at one point I got so frustrated perhaps. Can you imagine? At that time, my son was in university. I was paying for his education cash. I have a family to maintain and so on. And my source of income, or at least my main source of income at the time, you asked me to close it down and then you got me on a royal runaround. I said this nonsense. I'm not going to come back. I'm not going to come back. I'm not going to come back. As far as I'm concerned, this is a closed door. I'm going to look to open doors to myself. It took me about 2 years, and I'm starting to feel emotional remembering that story. Right? And I started looking for employment opportunities. I saw advertisements and so on, and I applied for jobs. And so eventually I was employed at DPI. And again, I'm saying I was not employed at the DPI as a result of a political favor. Nobody grandfathered me into becoming a communications officer at DPI. There was a public advertisement which I applied to. I provided my credentials. I was interviewed, I was what do you call it, on probation before confirmation and all of that. So when I say my work in the public service or in the with the government together, it got nothing to do with political favor. I know what I'm saying. A lot of you are now hearing this story for the first time. I'm sure you're now hearing this story for the first time. And that is why I say, if anybody got reasons to really be angry with the David Granger government, I am one of those persons. But I have not been angry with the David Granger government. I just say, well, they have had their shortcomings. Right? So that is why my school was closed. Why didn't I reopen the school? Why didn't I reopen the school? Because for me, I deal with, I'd say trust, I deal with reliability, I deal with confidence. If I close a private school last week to go and pursue what many people might consider other interests, who should trust me when I come back next month and open back a private school? I wouldn't do it with my children. If Tom closes a school next week where my children, this week where my children were attending, to go and look gold in the bush, and he come back next month and reopens the school, even the great-great-great-grandchild can't go to the school. Because I will see Tom as unreliable. I see Tom as, yeah, this man ain't going to stay for the end of the race. Right? This man ain't going to stay for the end of the race, so why am I going to take a chance with him again? No. And that is why I decided, I always believe in private enterprise. I say, well, I got this space there. What can I do with this space? And I'm going to come to the rum shop part now. What can I do with this space? Oh, in Buxton, there's no place that you can go and sit and have a meal. In Buxton, you could find all them corner cook shop. You can go and buy a box of food, you stand up on the road and eat it, or jump in your car and eat it, or go home and eat it. But if you want to sit someplace in comfort and dine, you can't find it in Buxton. Let me utilize the space for that. In Buxton, middle-aged people like myself can't find a comfortable and inviting space to sit and have a conversation or have a social drink. It's the lash-up-head generation they're going to have to be dealing with and so on. Let me use my space for that. And that is why we got Club Twilight. The patronage at Club Twilight for a greater part come from middle-aged people. I'm happy for them because I know that I've created a space. There's a particular group that comes to the karaoke on Thursday night, and I smile. I never said it now before, but I'm saying it in my mind now. I'm saying it now. I'm happy when that trio turns up because these are aged people, two elderly, with an elderly man that is slightly younger, and they have fun at the karaoke. They ain't got to be studying, young people taking the ice and pass them and so on. That is what I use my space for. So even though there's some people believe I open a rum shop, I open the rum shop with a certain kind of thinking behind it. I want to create a social space for our middle-aged people especially. So I could take that to the bank. Quality life.
If Tom closes the school next week,
Call your life. Caller, you are
Good
live.
morning. I never hear so much a bull in an explanation or a defense.
Tell the people that you go by your bull farm and look for the bull. The lines remain open. Well, no, the lines are not open still. I'm playing voice notes.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam and the listening public. I come here this morning to endorse what Rhonda said. Coffee and the second caller of your program. For me, they are 100% correct. And the last voice note that you read there about the individual inquiring, I think it's time for Guyanese to get brave and take the bull by the horn. Guyanese have allowed themselves to be beaten down too much with this domestic terrorism that is so prevalent in the country. And it is time for us to understand that if we all hold hands, we can get better. For the political part with Mr. Norton and Brother David Hines and Mr. Nigel Hughes, I think it's time that Nigel should show his real color and let people understand who he is and where he is, you know? Because right now, that's the only person who should be in the coalition that is somewhat confusing the nation. And therefore, I think he, sooner rather than later, he should make a definitive statement. He said one thing earlier on when he just got out of the box, that many in the AFC are not for coalition. Well, let us know whether they have a change of heart or they will go it alone. So that my brother David Hines and Norton can make a definitive decision and move this politics forward. Don't have Guyanese limboing, you know. It is very disgusting. Nigel's supposed to be playing a very meaningful role in this country if he is black conscious. Anyhow, that's all I have to say this morning. God's blessings for the entire nation, especially those who are of African descent. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for your call. It's 21 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. I really want to be fair and play those voice notes, but of course, maybe we will not get through all of them. Right? I think I got most of them. Did I miss any? I think I saw one. Yeah, let me play this one. This will be final.
Good morning, Brother Kidaki. Good morning, viewers. Brother Kidaki, the installed government of the day. They believe they got money that they can buy every cheap black man in this country. Let it go and buy Hakeem Jeffrey. The same Hakeem Jeffrey that they used to cuss out. That they're writing letters to now. If me was Hakeem Jeffrey, I take the letter and dump it in a garbage bin. Understand me? Only because. Understand me? I know you're not going to do that. Understand me? But Kidaki, this government, this installed government, they are so wicked to the people. But you know why one of them must do? I want them must buy God. Understand me? Let them buy God from winning this election. Let them buy God for winning this election. That you want them to do. And we Guyanese people have to open our eyes, and see what is taking place around we, especially our African brothers and sisters and our Indo-Guyanese and Amerindian Guyanese, who really don't appreciate what the PPP installed government are doing to our money in this country. Understand me? Let them go and buy God with the money that they got. They got plenty of money. Let them go and buy God to save them from losing this election. Let them go and buy God. That is what you want to go and buy. I see all these stupid black people that you see they're buying, that they're buying for crumbs. You understand me? For next to nothing. There's a day waiting for them. And they call themselves pastors. Yo, we have one like that. We have one similar to that in the Amstel. But it's a day coming for them. A day coming for these fellas who are playing pastors and doing wicked things to human beings in this country. It's a day coming for them, you know. A day. The day won't come for them. You can be just like the government of the installed government of this day. Y'all do have a blessed day, Guyanese.
No, thank you for that voice note. It is now 23 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour, and you're tuned to the Guyanese morning time. We are on the home run. We're about to wrap the program. And so I want to thank you as usual for tuning in. I want to thank those of you who support the program in one way or the other. I want to thank you for sharing the program, encouraging others to partake, because it's interesting, I would say, or important that we share, so that the information gets around and others get to, drink from the same well that you drink from ever so often, and you get your information, credible information, I dare say, credible information. Good. I personally would want to thank you for doing that. And so don't let them, what we say, Don't let them discourage you. You will always find, Keith, thank you for visiting the Cash App. You will find persons who will always try to put a spoke in your wheel. Persons who will always try to dissuade you. I have a thing I say, people believe what they want to believe, and there's not much in most instances that you can do to change that belief. Like the person said, they have never heard such bull in an explanation. They want to believe it's bull, that's a matter for them. I have spoken my truth and I live by my truth. Many of you know me, will know that. Right? Miranda Brown said I should rent my space out for training, etc. Miranda Brown, training is done at the PPP for the greater part. Training is done at the PPP bottom houses, like Freedom House on Annandale Public Road and so on. Like the place in Enterprise where they were teaching the children only to draw. Right? Only to draw vote PPP signs. That's where you are do training. We don't have a society. We don't have a society where it's a meritocracy. We don't have a society where people see things for what they're worth and work according to what is before them. I can give you all so many examples. So many examples of people being wicked and vindictive simply because what? You're not from the same political party and the same political thinking and stuff like that. Good? So I don't create businesses, and I say this, and I'm not saying it lightly. I do not create businesses that are wholly dependent on, or I should say, the whims and fancies of people. Favors. I don't generally create businesses like that. If you want to do a successful business, look at what is lacking in your community, what is needed in your community. So even if they don't need you, they need what you're providing. Right? That is how I do businesses. And I don't think I can consider myself a failure thus far. And I don't intend to fail. Keep that in mind. The many young people who benefited from my wisdom, even middle-aged and older people who benefited from my wisdom, they can tell you how my guidance have helped them in their businesses. Good? So when people come and they ask or make comments like, a man say, don't pay no attention to the man because he closed down a school for my rum shop, or we could be caring about teachers. My political work is different from my economic work. Keep that in mind. My social work is different to my economic work. I will always love teachers. I will always stand by them because I've been there. I know what it is to be in a classroom. Even 40 minutes in a classroom, I know what it is to be there. I know the challenges. I know what teachers go through. And so I know that no amount of money is too much to pay teachers. I'll be as frank as that. No amount of money is too much to pay teachers. In the hierarchy of salaries, I think teachers should be way up there. And as long as they're prepared to fight for it, I will fight with them and for them and alongside them. Who don't like it, lump it. I don't care who say what. I will maintain that Mark Light, from the look of things, is a sellout. He has failed the teachers. He has failed them. I will maintain that the General Council members, who apparently are supportive of signing that 10% deal, have failed the membership of the union. And save and except we don't do much investigative journalism in this country. maybe the stories might eventually get told as to why it was palatable for that deal to be signed. Y'all have a good day. See you tomorrow. Much love. Peace. Be safe. If you can be good, be safe. Roundabout, you could say it how you want it. I see it how I would like to. Tata. Bye-bye. Miranda brings up blackness when it suits her cause. I always black. And even if you're black and you do the wrong thing, I'll beat you for it.